So this is the finished color. If you guys would like to see how I achieve these beautiful shades of honey brown and blonde, then stay tuned. So I have the hair here. I have two bundles. I have a 16 and a 14. You guys are probably wondering, 16? Yes, I'm still only going to be using two bundles for this style, but I reached out to her and she sent me a 16-inch bundle. So I'm going to put the 16 in the back, the 14 in the front, and then eventually when I make the wig, obviously the frontal is for the wig, but you know, I like to, my method is a little bit crazy, as you guys will see, and I like to bleach hair while it's tied in the actual wraps. It's a lot easier for me. I've tried other methods, it doesn't work, and in case you guys are wondering, yes, it's a toilet seat. I bleach all my hair, dye all my hair on my toilet seat. It's just what has always worked best for me. There's bleach marks, there's dye marks, but you guys get the picture. So for this video, you guys are going to need, obviously, some bleach. I like the L'Oreal Quick Glue. I like the fact that it lifts, doesn't really give the hair like too much of an orange tint, and it lifts it relatively light. So I think I'm going for like a balayage type style, but maybe ombre at the ends. Hopefully my vision comes through. You're also gonna need some developer. So I have 30 volume developer. I do also have 20 volume developer. Now my goal is not to damage the hair, so I'm probably going to mix the 20 and the 30, and then depending on how fast it starts to lift, it's going to depend on if I'm going to foil it or not. I do also have one bottle of T18 toner because I am going to tone it. I may have to pick up another one of those. I don't think one is going to be enough for two bundles and a frontal. And then whenever I'm using Wella toner, I use their developer. They recommend 20 volume. Again, you know, for their toner, in order for it to work the way it's supposed to work, I just use their products. You will also need some gloves. I do also have a brush, and then I use these to mix up the bleach, and then obviously a mixing bowl that has old bleach in it, but again, whatever works for whoever it works for. I'm not going to measure the bleach because I just never do, and it works out, but don't quote me on this. Again, I'm not a professional. This is just what has worked for me. I believe it's 1 part bleach, 2 parts developer. If it's anything like toner, then that's usually the mixture, but I just eyeball it and I go based on the consistency that I'm looking for. So this is what the hair looks like after it's been coated with the coconut oil. I didn't do that on camera because I'm not trying for this video to be any longer than it has to be. Okay, so now I'm applying the bleach to the hair. One thing that you guys will see me do is that once I've basted the outer parts of the bundle, I'm gonna go in with the brush and kind of like space out the hairs themselves just to make sure that everything is saturated. One thing about this method is that if you're gonna be doing it, just be mindful that if you're not used to it and you don't get all those little hairs in between, you could end up with strands of hair that don't change. Now I did get that. However, I didn't mind because it came out, again, to give the hair dimension. On to bundle number 2, and I'm just going to repeat the same steps. Now it's time to bleach the frontal. Now doing the frontal, I decided to put it on the mannequin head. I like a little bit more symmetry when it comes to the front, so it looks a little crazy, but I promise you I did achieve the look that I was going for. So I basted the end and then kind of just like brush whatever excess bleach onto the roots to kind of give it that gradient effect that I was going for. So the bundles and the frontal have lifted to my desired color, or so I thought. So I'm just here just rinsing it out. Now you guys will see me use a shampoo. It's Suave Clarifying Shampoo. It was cheap, and it behaves like it was cheap because it literally left the hair feeling like straw when I was done. I actually had to co-wash it because I'm like, I've never gotten this reaction before. You guys will hear me talk about it later on in the video, but yeah, I don't recommend using that on the hair because it's very drying. This is the first bundle that I applied bleach to, and I rinsed the bundles in the order in which I applied the bleach, and it just came out really, really dark. Probably the reason that this bundle was preserved so well is because I did apply the coconut oil to the bundle twice before bleaching it. But I ended up bleaching this bundle 3 times just because, again, it was just a little too dark for the colors that I was going for. I brought the other bundle, the one that came out to be like a golden brown, just to make sure I got them to lift to the same level. Now I didn't foil the end properly, so I'm gonna start rinsing off this part first because it has lifted to the desired color. I don't want it to get any lighter while holding the foil on the other part. I know, a real cluster, I should say. But yeah, just while the ends just kind of lift a little bit more. Okay, so we are on to day 2. This is the 14-inch bundle. This is the bundle that I left the bleach on for a little too long. As you guys can see, the hair integrity is still there. Speaking of which, don't use this. I'm pretty sure I put a disclaimer in the beginning of the video. When I used this on the hair, it literally had the hair like looking like straw. So I had to co-wash it because I'm like, I've never had that happen before, and that's the only thing that's changed in my routine. So this is the 14-inch bundle. This is a 16-inch bundle. I dusted this, and I dusted, when I say dusted, I mean I took off some of the ends. And then on this one, I kind of like maybe cut off probably about 1 inch. I don't like that I cut it, because I do like how like the ends kind of look thin, because I feel like it makes it look a little bit more natural. But you guys can see now this bundle, as you guys can see, still has all the luster. Has been bleached twice. It's still darker than this one, but the next phase of this color is I'm going to bleach the tips to be a little bit lighter, and then I'm gonna tone everything, and then hopefully I think it'll come together. It'll all look good. Oh, and then the frontal. Let me show you guys the frontal. So this is what we have here with the frontal. The color on this side, which is going to be the left side, is a little bit higher, so I just have to raise it on the right side to match the left, and then I'm going to do the same thing. Just going to apply the color to the tips, and then I'm going to eventually tone all of it, well, most of it, like pretty close to the roots. And again, the reason why I'm going to be applying toner over the black is because when you do that, it kind of like gives it a nice gradient. And you guys will see what I'm talking about. I know it sounds crazy, I'm not a professional, but you know, all the mistakes I've made in the past have kind of paid off for the better. So stay tuned. Okay, so I have my bleach already mixed up. I'm just going to bleach the 2 bundles together, one on top of the other, because I don't see any point in not doing it that way. But yeah, just gonna get right to it, and then again, I'm just gonna be doing something. I'm just gonna be doing just the very ends, because I'm going for like, I don't know, like I guess like a tricolor ombre kind of balayage. I don't know what to call it, but I just know in my mind how I want it to look. So here goes nothing.
I decided to apply the bleach to the frontal a little bit differently this time. I mainly use my hands rather than using the brush, but I just kind of wanted it to look like effortless. So that's the look that I'm going for. Once I'm done applying that bleach to the ends, you guys will see me flip it over and apply the bleach to the knots. I probably should have left it on a little bit longer, or just mix more bleach. I was being a little bit lazy, to be honest, and it showed because I do have to re-bleach those.
Okay, so this has been processing. It looks like where I want it to be, just based on how the bleach is looking. I think it's done processing. Why is that bundle in the back just taking so, that one bundle? It's not the one bundle, it's probably just me because I'm not a professional, you guys know this. But this is already lifted. So I think I'm gonna rinse this out first and let the other bundle just still process. This is the one that was a little bit darker that I just didn't leave the bleach on long enough. So I'm gonna let this continue to process while I rinse out the other one. Okay, so those are my bundles. I have my toner here. Just have to mix it up. So I did, like I said, pick up some extra bottles of toner from Sally's. I did an in-store pickup last night while I was bleaching the hair for the first time. Now, this is something I don't play with. Like I said, whatever measurement it calls for, that's what I do. So it's 2 bottles of this. It's 2-to-1 ratio. So 1 part's this, 2 parts developer. So the best way to do that is just to pour the developer in this bottle and then pour it out twice. This way it's the exact measurement that it's supposed to be. Everything else I just eyeball and base it on the consistency that I'm going for, but not the toner. And like I said before, I also use their developer. It's the only reason I have the Wella developer is strictly for the toner. So, hoping I don't have to use all 3 bottles, because I always like to have like just extras just laying around in case I get bored. So this is the finished product. I absolutely love it. I love the different shades. Now it didn't really come out that much lighter on the ends. Some places did, some places didn't, but I'm okay with it because it gives it dimension and character. I don't think I'm gonna go back in and lighten the ends anymore, just because I don't want to run the risk of damaging the hair. I mean, this bundle's been processed 3 times. These have been, well, with bleach. This has been processed twice with bleach, and everything's been toned once. But yeah, so you can kind of see where it's a little bit lighter. It's kind of like a nice light gradient effect. I'm not sure if I'm going to go back in and just like soften this line.
but you guys can see it's not a harsh line, which I like. And I think you can kind of see the difference in the color with the bundle that's a little bit darker. You can actually see where it's a little bit lighter. I kind of wanted it to be blonde, but maybe once I'm finished making the wig, I'll go in and make it blonde. But you guys can see up close where it's not harsh against the black. You can still see like shades of brown. And even though my methods are crazy, as you guys can see, it works, and it works well for me. So I can't wait to install this, and I can't wait even more to make a wig.